Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed.
All right, let's take a look at our study guide for chapter 5. This is all going to be about solving systems of equations. So sometimes we have just random equations that we have to solve using the equal values method, and sometimes we have word problems that we need to solve, which are fairly complicated at first glance, but if you just think about going through the 5D process, finding your variables, what do you know about each one? What does the X represent? What does the Y represent? What's the growth rate? What's the starting amount? Set up the rules, and once you got the equations or rules, then we just use equal values method like we did here. And if the rules involve decimal numbers or fractions, which do any of these involve? So yeah, I guess some of them do. And that's what your calculators are for. Okay. So and of course we want to make sure that we're answering the specific question based on what we find out about the different situations and the rules and all. So let's get to it. Starting off with just some basic problems. Remember, equal values method to solve these problems. If y is equal to this and y is equal to that, then this has to be equal to that. So let's just go ahead and solve a problem where we say x minus 6 has to be equal to 12 minus x. If I add an x to each side, then this becomes 2x's, right? This guy moves over there to join this one. And then I would add 6 to each side, and that becomes an 18. So if 2x is equal to 18, then 1x has to be equal to 9, and that's what we've got right here. Once we know that x is equal to 9, we put it in here and see what we get for y. And you want to check it in both because you want to make sure that you're getting the correct answer. If I put in x was equal to 8 and y was 2, I don't want to just write a 2 there because 12 minus 8 is not 2. It doesn't work. So you've got to check it in both. Make sure you get the same answer for both. And 9 minus 6 is 3 and 12 minus 9 is 3. So that's how we know that for this particular system, when x is equal to 3, when x is equal to 9, y is equal to 3, and that is the intersection point of these two lines, and therefore that is the solution to the system of equations. Might clear everything up. Okay, let's try another random one. Let's take 3. So if y is equal to this, and y is equal to that, then this has to be equal to that. So I'm going to take away 2 x's from each side, and I'm going to take away 4 from each side. That means x has to be equal to 4 because 3 times 4 is 12. So now what is 2 times 4? That's 8, and 8 plus 16 is 24. Let's see if we get that here. 20 plus 4 is also 24. There's our answer. Okay, so equal values method. Use that to solve all of these systems and use your calculator along the way if it starts getting a little too complicated. All right, I am not doing all of these. I'm just going to do a few at a time, but I'm going to do some highlighting and show you how I came up with the rules, and then maybe I'll show a little bit of work for a couple of them. And if you've got questions about any of them, then I would have you just ask me. Okay, just send me an email or jump on for the Google Meet, and I will work through those problems for you. Okay, so Shock will wash windows of a house for $15 plus $1 per window. So you got to pay the $15 up front. That's what this is right here. And then $1 per window, it looks like X has to represent the number of windows, right? So Y is going to be the total amount of money that he makes. So Y equals X plus 15 is the equation for Jacques washing windows. Ray will also wash them. He's only going to charge $5 up front. What a bargain, except he's charging $2 per window, not $1 per window. So for both of these, X represents the number of windows that are being washed, and Y represents the total amount of money made from washing windows. So you can kind of get an idea that if you only have a couple of windows to wash, you might want to go with Ray because he charges less up front. But if your house is loaded with windows that you need washed, you're willing to pay the extra money up front because you're going to save it on the price per window. So the question is, write an equation that represents each person's sets. Well, we did there, solve the system of equations and explain what the solution means. Okay, so remember, the solution to the system is where these two lines would intersect. So it basically means how many windows could they wash where they would end up making the exact same amount of money. Okay, so let me go ahead and create a little, no, that's not the one I want. I want this in white. There we go. We'll make like a little chalkboard here, kind of a thing. So remember, if y is equal to this, and y is equal to that, and this has to be equal to that. So I'm going to take away 1x from each side, and I'm going to take away 5 from each side. That means x is equal to 10. That is 10 windows, right? When 10 windows are being washed, I don't know why I'm putting in parentheses, whatever. How much money is that going to be? Well, 10 plus 15 is $25. And here, 20 plus 5 is $25. All right. So yes, I don't like those parentheses. That was stupid to do that. Let's just get rid of those. So that's in essence what this ordered pair means. When X represents the number of windows washed and Y represents the amount of money that they make, then we can declare it as an ordered pair if we wanted to identify the solution to the system as an intersection point on the graph. If you want to just answer the question in real life terms, then when both of them wash 10 windows, each of them will make $25. So I guess if you've got fewer windows, fewer than 10 windows, you should go with Ray because you're saving money here with the initial fee. Here, if you got more than 10 windows, you should go with Jacques. So let's just test that. If, say you got 20 windows, it's going to cost 35 here, and it's going to cost you 45 here. So the price per window from Ray punished you for having more than 10 windows, right? If you only had 3 windows, that would cost you $18, but this would only cost you $11. So Ray would be better. So anything less than 10 windows, you go with Ray. Anything more than 10 windows, you go with Jacques. Comprende? Good. Okay, let's go ahead and clear that off. And let's move to, how about this one right here? Ellie has moved to Hawks Bluff for 1 year and wants to join a health club. She has narrowed her choices to 2 places. There's Thigh Hopes and there is Absolutely Fabulous. Thigh Hopes charges a $95 fee and an additional $15 per month. So X must be the number of months. 15 per month plus the initial fee of $95 gives you the total amount of money that it's going to cost to join this gym. Then you got Absolutely Fabulous that charges $125 to join and then $12 per month. So I guess it comes down to this. How long do you plan on being a member of this gym? If you plan on being a member of the gym for a long time, like years and years, it might be worth paying the extra fee because you're going to pay less per month, $3 less per month over that time period. Whereas if you're only going to be around, she says, for 1 year, she's has moved there for 1 year, but she's going to leave. And so because it's a limited amount of time, you might be better off paying a little extra per month because you get savings. What is that? $30 cheaper. So let's see what happens here. Write 2 equations that represent each of the charges. So there are the 2 equations. What do the variables represent? Well, right, X is the number of months and Y is the total. Solve the system of equations and tell when the cost will be the same. Ellie will only live there for 1 year, so which club will be less expensive for her? All right, so if X is equal to this, I'm sorry, not X. If Y is equal to this and Y is equal to that, then this has to be equal to that. So let's subtract 12 X's from each side. Let's take away 95 from each side. And you see that X equals 10. So if she only is a member for 10 months, it's going to be the same cost regardless of which one she chooses to go to. Now, she's planning on being there for a year, right? Which is 12 months. So for 12 months, it looks like she should probably go with the one that's more expensive, right? At the beginning, because she's going to save a total of $36 in monthly fees. And that's going to eventually it's just going to eventually be cheaper. So let's go ahead and let's figure out what the total charges would be. 12 times 10 is 120, plus 125 is 245. So that's going to be y is equal to $245. Okay, so if she ends up being there for a year, let's prove that this one is going to be the cheaper one anything more than 10 months. Okay, we know that's cheaper until 10 months. At 10 months, they become equal, which means this one is the line that eventually passes it, right? So let's do the, I'm going to do this one in red for absolutely fabulous. We know in 12 months, it's going to be 12 times 12 plus 125. So that is 144 plus 125 is going to be $269. That's if she went with this one, and that's going to be cheaper, I promise you. Let's go ahead and check and see what this one ends up being. This one ends up being 12 months for, oh wait, no, we got to go the other direction. It's going to be $15 for 12 months. For 12 months, 12 times 15 is what? I should know this, but I'm having a little brain, you know what? 12 times 15 is 180. Okay, so that is 180 plus the $95 plus 95 is $275. Which one was cheaper? Absolutely fabulous. While they charged more at the beginning, when you get past that threshold of the solution to systems, that 10, 20, 245, when you get over 10 months, this one becomes the cheaper one, and that one becomes more expensive. So this is great. Anything less than 10 months, this is better. Anything more than 10 months. All right, so I'm not going to work through any of the others unless you ask me to. I'm going to just go ahead and show you what the answers are. Here, who will, it says in 9 weeks, Nora will have $225 and Misha will have $215. So that's kind of the answer. These are the rules that apply to that situation. Hopefully you got the rules right and you answered the question properly. Ginny and Martha raising pumpkins. This is the rule for Ginny. That's the rule for Martha. How much? It says, assuming that their pumpkins grow at these rates, in how many weeks will their pumpkins weigh the same? That's the system. So 842 would be the solution to the system. And how much will they weigh? It looks like, wait, what is the question? Assuming, how much will they weigh in, I don't understand what that is asking me. Let me just read it. Her best pumpkin weighs 10 pounds, but she expects it to grow 4 pounds per week. Okay, so that's a part of this one right there. Assuming that the pumpkins grow at these rates, in how many weeks will their pumpkins weigh the same? 8 weeks, they'll weigh the same, right? Okay, how much will they weigh? 42 pounds. I guess I didn't declare that. If the contest ended in 7 weeks, that's what I'm answering right here. So in 7 weeks, we'll have the heavier pumpkin. In 7 weeks, multiply each one times 7. This is going to be $39.50 pounds, or I'm sorry, 39.5 pounds, and this one would be 38 pounds. It looks like Ginny's would be a little bit heavier in 7 weeks. In 8 weeks, they would be the same. In 9 weeks, Martha's is going to be the heavier one because it's growing at a faster rate per week. Okay. All right. Of this, if you have any questions, you want me to go over these in a little bit more depth, I'd be happy to. Otherwise, let's move on to the chapter test. Take care. Bye.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed.